recently issued a report about a female inmate who was incarcerated in the state of California in the prison system out there who became pregnant. Now, this female inmate became pregnant after she was forced to share a cell with a biological male inmate who identifies as female. That's right. So a transgender inmate, a man who was in the male prison system, requested or said, changed his identity. Suddenly he became a woman, was transferred to the female prison, was the cellmate of this woman, and this woman inmate is now pregnant as a result of this. And by the way, in prison, just for everyone's information, there's no such thing as consensual sex in prison. Every sexual activity is considered non-consensual in prison. So this is what the Women's Liberation Front actually reported about the incident. They said, we've now heard from 7 different people inside the prison that at least one woman, possibly more, is now pregnant after being housed with a male felon who was transferred to the women's prison under SB 132. So SB 132 is the law that passed in California last year that allows men who identify as women to be housed in a prison in accordance with their so-called gender identity. 300 males, or by the way, this law went into effect just this past January. 300 males since then in the California prison system have requested transfer, and 20 males have been processed thus far. That means 20 males are now on the loose in women's prisons. 20 males who, clearly some of which have male anatomy, working anatomy, and just say they identify as women. So this is a key thing too. This is identity only. So this law does not require surgery. It does not require a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. It is based solely on the inmate saying, hey, now I'm a woman. I want to go live with the women. That's literally all it takes. And these men will be transferred to female prisons. The state of California and the California state legislature who passed this bill, they might be idiots, but they're not stupid. They know the consequences of this behavior. And you know how I know that they know the consequences even though they're such morons? Because the California prison system has been handing out condoms and Plan B contraceptives to female inmates in these prisons. What does that tell you? It tells you that these women know they expect to be raped. The prisons expect them to be raped. Remember, it doesn't matter the situation. All sex in prison is considered under the law to be non-consensual. But this is the reality of what happens when the left tries to destroy objective reality. People get hurt. This is not a language game. This is not a rhetorical trick. This is not respecting how their lived experience and how they're feeling. There are women in prison who have no recourse for themselves. They have no right to get a firearm. They can't move away. They can't even run away. They are in prison, in a cell, locked up with men who could have been convicted of domestic violence. These men could have been convicted of rape, for all we know. They have no way to escape and are going to be subject to the most heinous crime I can think of. There's one inmate, by the way, at this prison. Her name is Amber Jackson, and she was talking about this to the Santa Monica Observer, and this is what she said. She's like, call yourself a woman all you want, but when you have a man with a penis that works as if it was designed to do, that is a problem in a women's prison group shower room. That's a problem. She's right. It's more than a problem. This is a violation of these women. It's a violation of these women's fundamental rights. Again, these women have no recourse. They're at the mercy of the state who's endangering them, and their rights and their bodies are being violated. I would sue the state of California over this if I were these women in these women's prisons, and I will use my voice to speak out on their behalf because this is absolutely egregious.